We've spent some time in the last couple of labs creating titration curves using the pH probes and LoggerPro. And I want to talk a little bit about the differences between the two graphs that you got in the last two labs. First of all, the definition of a titration curve, of course you need to write this down. It's just a graph of pH along the y-axis, of the analyte, which is just another way of saying the stuff that you start off with in the flask. But that's a word that you need to know, just kind of a vocab word. But the analyte is the thing that we're trying to analyze. So it's the thing that we don't know the molarity of, and it's usually the thing that's in the flask. So in this case, for the graph that you see down here, the analyte would have a low pH because in the beginning, when we have 0 of the titrant, which is the thing in the burette, when 0 of it has been added, the pH is very low, which means the analyte, the thing in the flask, must be an acid. And so then the titrant must be a base, because as we add base, at first not a whole lot happens, but then the pH really starts to rise, and it ends up being very basic. And this looks very much like one of the graphs that you guys produced in the lab. What I want to talk about is a couple of pieces of the anatomy of this titration curve. First of all, the thing that we've been finding is the equivalence point. It's the middle of the steep part of the curve. So it's kind of this point right here. So this is called the equivalence point. All right. And the equivalence point is the point where we have acid and base present in chemically equivalent amounts. Okay. So, well, what does that mean? It means if the balanced equation calls for 1 mole of acid for every 1 mole of base, when you actually have that in the flask after you've added some base to acid, that would be where you're at the equivalence point, right? Now, in a lot of cases, the equivalence point is at 7, but not always, right? So we want to talk about why that is. So pH at the equivalence point. If the acid and base are both strong, you will get a pH at the equivalence point of 7. So if I sketch this, this is very much like the first titration you guys did, because you had a strong acid and a strong base. So you had HCl in the flask, and you had sodium hydroxide in the burette, and they gave us sodium chloride and water. Right? So the pH, because it was the acid was the analyte, it was in the flask, the pH started low, and then it kind of went up a little bit, and then it went up suddenly, and then it plateaued again. And the equivalence point, which we could estimate is about right there, was right at 7. Okay, so why is that? Well, two reasons. Number one, we had an equal amount of acid and base. But that doesn't really tell the whole story, because it's possible to have chemically equivalent amounts of acid and base and not have a neutral pH. The reason that in this case we have a neutral pH, if we look at our salt, in this case the salt is table salt, sodium chloride, it's aqueous. So when you did the reaction, you didn't see anything in the solution, and that's because the sodium chloride is aqueous. And of course aqueous means dissolved, right? So what you actually had were sodium ions and chloride ions. Okay? And those ions floating around don't really do anything to the pH of the water that they're floating around in, because sodium can't give or lose hydrogens, and chloride technically can gain hydrogens because it's got that negative charge, but it's the conjugate. If you remember back to conjugate acids and bases, Cl minus is the conjugate of HCl. And if you remember back to our discussion of conjugates, we said that the conjugate of a strong acid, like HCl, would be a weak base. So therefore chloride, while it technically could receive a hydrogen and act as a base, it is very, very unlikely to do that because it's the conjugate of a strong acid. So we have sodium that doesn't give or lose hydrogens, and we have chloride that really doesn't either, even though technically it could act as a base. So what that means is we have a salt, sodium chloride, floating around in water, and none of this is going to lead to that solution in the flask having a pH that's acidic or basic. In other words, we don't really have anything to act as an acid or a base when we're at the equivalence point, so the pH is 7. So that's a little bit abstract, it's a little tough to imagine, might be a little bit confusing. So let's take a look at a case like the last lab that we did. In the last lab, the base was strong and the acid was weak. If you remember, we had sodium hydroxide again, which is a strong base, but it was reacting with acetic acid. So hydrogen acetate. And it gives us sodium acetate and water. Should have been your balanced equation. And again, it's 1-to-1. There's no balancing that has to be done. Okay. So, and then when you did the curve, or the titration curve, when you graphed this, you got a little bit different result. It kind of did this, and then it went up sharply and leveled off, but the big difference is pH of 7 was like way down here, right? And so the equivalence point, the point was sort of like you're at the middle of the steep part of the curve, was way up here around 8 or 9. Okay, so that's the equivalence point. All right, now it might be predictable and it might make sense to you that the equivalence point would be basic if the base is stronger than the acid. And so it's easy to remember and predict where the equivalence point will be. It's just sort of whichever one's stronger. If the base is strong and the acid is weak, then your equivalence point is going to be basic because the base is stronger. But that's not really the reason why. The real reason why, again, goes back to the ions in this in the salt that forms. So really, again, this is aqueous. It's Na plus, and it's acetate. And the Na plus, once again, just like last time, doesn't really do anything. It doesn't act as an acid or a base. And acetate, you wouldn't really think of it as being a base. It doesn't contain hydroxide itself, but not all bases do. And if you look at it, it's the conjugate of a weak acid, acetic acid. And we said, just like if the conjugate of a strong acid is a weak base, the conjugate of a strong base is a weak acid. The conjugate of a weak acid, though, would be a relatively strong base. And so that's going to affect the pH at the equivalence point. All right. So the presence of that acetate ion floating around in the water is going to cause the equivalence point, pH, to be a little bit basic. And the reason for that is that acetate, that C2H3O2, 1 minus, that's floating around in the water, can actually react with a water molecule and take a hydrogen from it to give us acetic acid again and hydroxide. And so we're producing excess hydroxide. And even though we've reached the equivalence point where you would think we would be neutral pH, because we're producing this extra hydroxide, it's going to be basic.